Good evening and welcome to our program. This series is focusing on This Is Your FBI. This Is Your FBI was a radio crime drama which aired in the United States on ABC from April 6, 1945 to January 30th, 1953 for a total of 409 shows. The show featured true cases from the FBI and was told from an FBI agent's viewpoint. FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover gave it his endorsement, calling it our show and calling it the finest dramatic program on the air. Generally, I do not include advisories. Given Hoover's polarizing nature, I will share this. Dramatized stories created for propaganda purposes are not history. They tell one biased side of the story, and in no way am I saying that these are reliable stories. I just believe them to be interesting when viewed through the scope of entertainment and weird history. Finally, I'd like to send a specific thank you to publicdomainreview.org and archive.org for organizing and compiling all of this media. If you would like to listen to standalone media, we have included a link in the description.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society presents This Is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, the official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community. As Christmas Day draws near, every father becomes more deeply aware of how much his wife and family mean to him. For this is the season when we think of others, when we find our greatest happiness in promoting the happiness of those we love. Perhaps that is why more fathers choose December than any other month to increase their family's protection with the Equitable Life Assurance Society. Yes, this is a good time to get in touch with your Equitable Society representative to discuss with him the finest gift that any man can give his loved ones, security through life insurance. Tonight's FBI file, Operation Rhumba.
Tonight, your FBI removes the secret classification from another of wartime files and makes public this story of how one of its special agents aided the Allied cause in the fight against the Axis. The time of this case was December 1942, almost 4 years ago to the day, a period which saw headlines about strange remote places like Guadalcanal, Tunis, Mature, Bizerte. They were the days of desperation, when it seemed, even to those who are not faint-hearted, that victory for the Axis might be just around the corner. Tonight's file opens on a street corner in a large city in South America. A middle-aged lady, limping quite badly, approaches the corner where George Harrison, a young American chemist, is standing. The middle-aged lady speaks.
I beg your pardon, young man.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yes, I'd like you to do me a favor.
If I can.
I wonder if you'd wait here with me until the traffic slows down and help me across.
Well, certainly.
Thank you so much. You're an American, aren't you?
Yes.
That's why I asked you. Some of these natives down here hate us so much I'd be afraid they'd push me in front of a car.
Oh, they're not that bad.
Oh, wait till you've been here as long as I have.
Well, I think they're good ones.
There are very few good ones, young man. You can take my word for that. Besides, they're almost all German spies. I wouldn't trust any of them.
Well, I don't know about that.
You'll find out that I'm right, young man. And I hope you do before it's too late.
Well, I hope so, too. I think we can get across after this car passes, ma'am.
Yes, I believe you're right. Do you mind if I take your arm?
Not at all.
Over here, Mrs. Wagner. Hurry, get in. That was a fine push you gave him.
At first, I didn't think I'd pushed him hard enough to get him in front of that other car.
It was perfect. In fact, I think the car that Pedro was driving, she killed the young man.
That's too bad. He was a nice boy. But we can't worry about him now. Let's hurry. I've got to get this briefcase to the pet shop.
A few hours later, in the hospital room of George Harrison, George was explaining his strange accident to Special Agent Jim Taylor.
You say this woman was about 45 with dark hair and a light complexion.
Yes, Mr. Taylor, that's right.
And when she approached you, she was limping quite badly.
She was.
Well, if the woman purposely pushed you in front of the car to get your briefcase, as you seem to think, then in all probability that limp was faked.
I suppose you're right.
And you have no idea what happened to the woman.
None.
What makes you think she pushed you as this car was approaching?
Well, the car just seemed to come out of nowhere, and it seemed to me she stepped back and pushed me right in front of it.
Can you describe the briefcase you say she took, Mr. Harrison?
Well, it was an ordinary brown calfskin briefcase with my initials, GHH.
Mr. Harrison, I happen to know that you're down here working on an important secret project, and that this may be a conspiracy, but...
But what?
But there must be a lot of women in this city who answer to the description that you've given me.
Shouldn't be too hard to find her.
Still, if we find her and she hasn't got the briefcase...
What do you mean?
I mean, what do we do then? There's no way you can prove that she actually pushed you, is there? You're not even sure she did.
I see what you mean.
However, we'll go to work on it, Mr. Harrison. And the first break we get, we'll let you know.
Here we are at the pet shop, Mrs. Wagner.
Good. I won't be too long.
Do you want me to wait for you?
Yes, wait right here. Good morning, Alex.
Ah, good morning. You have the briefcase.
Yes, it worked perfectly. Here. But it was very lucky there wasn't anyone in the pet shop when I walked through.
Oh, that does not matter. If ever there are customers when you come in, just wait. Jose will get rid of them, and then you can walk back here in safety.
Oh, yes, I see.
You like the canaries in the shop?
Why, yes, they're new, aren't they?
We just got them in yesterday.
But what do you do with canaries? They aren't rare.
No. But Jose was complaining. He said the radio transmitter was making so much noise you could hear it all over. Now they will think it is the canaries.
Why, how clever. That's a wonderful trick.
To be in this business and to stay in this business, you must use your head. Ah, there. Now, let me see what we have here. Mrs. Wagner, I'm sorry to have to tell you this.
Sorry to tell me what?
This briefcase does not contain the right information.
What?
Yes, I'm sorry. But for this, we cannot pay you. You understand that, no?
But I took great chances this morning, Alex.
I know. But, Mrs. Wagner, I can only buy from you what I can get paid for. Now, if you wish to undertake another assignment...
Well, I need the money, Alex. I've told you that.
Very well. Listen carefully. I want you to go back.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Harrison.
Well, hello.
It's so good to see that you weren't hurt badly either.
Oh?
My doctor examined me and said I was only slightly bruised. So I came to see how you were and to return your briefcase.
But how did you know who I was and where I was?
Why, there was a story about the accident in the morning paper in which it said you'd been brought to this hospital.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you for returning the briefcase.
Well, it's nothing, really.
It was very nice of you, and I do appreciate it.
How long are you going to be here?
Well, I'm going to be released tomorrow.
Splendid. Then I'm not going to leave this hospital room until you tell me what day you're coming to my home for tea.
Well, I'm afraid...
Now, after all, I feel I'm partly responsible for your having met with this accident. Now, you must say yes, Mr. Harrison.
Well, I'll be pretty busy the first day I get out of here,
But
but...
how about Thursday, then?
That sounds all right. What's your address, Mrs. Wagner?
17 Avenue of the Siestas. Isn't that romantic?
Very. All right, then I'll see you on Thursday at, say, 5?
That's wonderful. I'll be waiting.
May I come in, Senor Montez?
Yes, come in, please. What is it I can do for you?
Here are my credentials, Senor.
James Taylor. Oh, please sit down, Mr. Taylor. We're very happy to do what we can to cooperate with the American FBI.
Thank you, Senor Montez.
What can we do?
Our censors in the United States intercepted the letter with secret writing on it that was sent to a man here named Rafael Torres.
Rafael Torres. I don't know that name, Mr. Taylor. You think he's a German spy?
We are pretty sure he is, judging from what was in this letter to him.
Where did they send that letter to Senor Torres?
It was addressed to him at 43 Avenue Dos Picos.
43 Avenue dos Picos.
I went by there this morning. It's a pet shop.
Oh, yes, that is owned by a man named Jose Condado.
Do you know him?
Not too well, but he runs a big business. He sells many rare birds. He has a boat which he sends up the river for those birds.
Do you know the name of the boat, Senor Montez?
El Aguila, that means the eagle in Spanish.
Yes, I know. I speak a little Spanish.
Good. Now, what else do you want to know?
Well, according to your records and our own, there isn't a transmitter in this country sending out a signal powerful enough to be picked up overseas.
That is correct. We have been very careful about that.
Yes, I know that. So what puzzles me is, if they're not using the radio, how are they getting that information out?
That I do not know. But if there is anything I can do to help you to find out...
Well, I'll tell you what you can do for us, if you will.
Yes?
You can put a plainclothesman on watch at the pet shop. Maybe we can pick up something by watching who goes out and who comes in.
Maybe. Excuse me.
Oh, certainly.
Chief of Police Montez. Yes, Mr. Taylor is here. Just a minute, please. It's your office.
Oh, thank you, senor. Hello. Oh, yes, Don. Harrison called, you said? Said that woman was all right and returned the briefcase, huh? I see. Okay, Don, I'll see you later. Now, Senor Montez?
Well, as you were requesting, Mr. Taylor, we shall be glad to put a man on watch at the pet shop, and we shall give you a report.
Thank you, Senor Montez. And as soon as I find out anything, I'll be in touch with you.
Yes?
Is this the residence of Mrs. Nora Wagner?
Yes, sir. I am Alex, Mrs. Wagner's butler, sir. Are you Mr. Harrison?
Yes, I had an appointment with Mrs. Wagner.
She's expecting you, sir. Please go straight ahead.
Thank you, Alex.
Hello there, Mr. Harrison.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Wagner.
Well, you look fine. No ill effects from the accident?
No, the doctor said there wasn't a single after effect.
Knock on wood. Now, would you like some tea, or would you rather have whiskey?
Tea would be fine. I've got to get back to the office after I leave here to finish up some work.
All right, we'll both have tea then.
Will you have a cigarette, Mrs. Wagner?
Oh, no, thank you. I smoke a special brand. Alex cigarette.
There you are, madam.
Well, here, let me light it for you.
Thank you. I think the time is come to tell you something, Mr. Harrison.
Oh, what's that?
Mr. Harrison, we know you're a chemist and that you were sent down here to work on synthetic rubber. Now we want to know the results of your most recent experiment with butadiene. It's as simple as that.
And if I refuse to tell you?
Alex?
This is what will happen. Now get up and start talking.
I'll tell you what I'll do, you dirty...
Alex? Are you sure you didn't hit him too hard that time?
No, he isn't hurt. He'll just be unconscious for a little while.
Well, you'd better take him up to the bedroom.
Yes. When he comes to, if he still refuses to talk, then I can go to work on him again.
We will return in just a moment to tonight's file, which shows how your FBI promotes security for the nation. Now, a word to fathers about security for the family. Father, do you have the courage to face some facts which may give you a real jolt? If you haven't got that courage, better turn off your radio for the next 59 seconds, because here comes a question which is very likely to open your eyes to a serious situation. You're still listening? Then you do have the courage. All right? Ask yourself this question.
If I should die, how would my family get through the critical years until the youngest child finished high school? How long would my wife and children continue to be well-fed, well-housed, and well-clothed?
That deserves more than a superficial offhand answer. It deserves a thoughtful answer based on facts. To help you get them, the Equitable Life Assurance Society has prepared a special fact-facing chart for fathers, which has these 3 advantages. First, it's simplicity itself. You can fill it out in 5 minutes flat. Second, you are guided every step of the way by easy-to-understand pictures which illustrate the unavoidable expenses your family will have to meet. Third, when you're finished with this fact-facing chart, you'll have a clear, accurate, and complete picture of just what income your family would need during the critical years.
Say, that's something that not one father in 100 knows. Where do I get one of these fact-facing charts? And how much does it cost?
Why, it doesn't cost a cent. The Equitable Society representative in your community will be glad to bring you a copy of this fact-facing chart. Phone him tomorrow or send a postcard, care of this station, to the Equitable Society.
That's EQUITABLE.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States.
It is unfortunate but true that during a war when emotion runs high and patriotism is a word with dignity, that there are some who place their personal comforts before the welfare of the nation. The list of traitors to every nation is a long one, and is studded with those who are traitors in time of peace as well as in time of war. Traitors to their own country and to the human race. For what they have to sell is not disloyalty, but hate. In time of war, they're called traitors. In time of peace, they're dismissed as harmless crackpots. But what they have to sell is dangerous at any time. For hate breeds hate. And when the world's quotient of hatred exceeds the world's quotient of friendship, then we shall know the terrible tragedy of World War III. Tonight's file continues at police headquarters, where Special Agent Jim Taylor has just entered into a conference with Chief of Police Carlos Montes.
You think you have uncovered something, Jim?
I don't know, Carlos, but I was down at the pier this morning when the El Aguila came in, and there was a coat of salt on the prow.
So?
That coat of salt means that ship was out on the ocean, Carlos.
Yes, you're right. Where do you think the boat went?
I don't know, but they've got a radio on that boat. Do you know anything about it?
Yes, all radios on boats that ship out of this harbor are registered here, Jim.
Oh?
In that green book over there.
Well, let's look up the radio on the El Aguila.
Here we are. El Aguila. No, Jim, this radio, she isn't strong enough to send more than 200-300 miles.
Yes, you're right. That's only a ship to shore, 50 water.
Now I am puzzled. I do not understand this whole thing.
You mean about the boat?
Yes. I have known Jose Condado for several years, and I know he is not the kind of a man who would work with Germans.
Well, then he doesn't know what's going on under his nose, Carlos, because we know his pet shop is a mail drop.
Still, no one we have not been able to identify has gone into the pet shop since we put a man on watch.
Well, I don't know the answer, Carlos, but I'd...
Excuse me.
Oh, certainly.
Chief of Police Montes. Yes, Mr. Taylor is here. Just a minute, please. It's for you, Jim.
Thanks. Hello. Yes, Don. What? George Harrison has disappeared. Don, do you know where his office is? Where? Wait a minute. Let me copy that down. Okay. Okay, I got it. Let's take a look around his office. I'll meet you there in 10 minutes.
Has he come to yet, Alex?
Yes, he came to, and he wouldn't talk.
So you went to work on him again?
Naturally.
Let me try for a while. Come on. Come on. Alex,
Yes?
get me a drink of that brandy. Maybe that'll help.
All right. Here.
Thank you. Here. Take a drink of this. Drink it. It's good for you. I think you will talk now.
Well,
You're at my home, Mrs. Wagner. Remember? What were the results of your experiments?
no. No, I won't tell you.
You take him, Alex. Go to work on him.
I don't think I'll work on him anymore.
Why not?
Because he will not talk to us. He will not tell us anything.
What are we going to do then? Let him go?
No, we will not let him go, but I will call the pet shop.
What do you want from the pet shop?
The truck. We will take Mr. Harrison down to the El Aguila.
What can you do with him on the boat?
The El Aguila will make a rendezvous at sea with one of our U-boats. And when they get Mr. Harrison in Germany, they will know how to make him talk.
Who can that be?
I don't know. But you had better answer the door.
You think it's the truck from the pet shop?
No, the truck will come to the back door, I told them.
Oh, all right. I'll go. Good evening.
Good evening. Mrs. Wagner?
Yes.
Oh, is Mr. George Harrison still here?
No, I'm sorry, but he isn't. I had an appointment with Mr. Harrison for this afternoon, but he didn't keep it.
I see. Oh, George is a friend of mine. I have a message for him.
He told you he was coming here for tea?
No, I found that out from his appointment pad at his office.
Oh, I see.
Well, if you hear from him, Mrs. Wagner...
I'll have him get in touch with you, Mr.
Taylor. Jim Taylor.
I'll tell him to get in touch with you, Mr. Taylor. He knows where to call you, does he?
Yes, he does.
And, Mr. Taylor,
Oh, yes?
if you hear from him first, I wish you'd ask him to get in touch with me and explain his not making an appearance.
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Goodbye, Mrs. Wagner.
Who was that?
Someone looking for Harrison.
Looking for... How did they know he was here?
Harrison had my name on his appointment pad in his office.
All right, then we must hurry.
Is the truck here yet?
Yes, while you were talking, I saw the truck enter your garage. Come on, give me a hand.
What do you want me to do? Help you carry him?
No, he's not unconscious. I've him tied up and gagged, and I will keep him covered with my gun until we get to the boat.
Well, let's get to work.
Carlos!
Jim.
Carlos, we've got to get moving.
What is it, Jim?
I went to Harrison's office and found out that he was at Mrs. Wagner's for tea this afternoon.
Yes?
I went there, and Mrs. Wagner said that Harrison had never arrived.
You saw him there?
No, but I know he was there.
How?
Well, you know how light it is out this evening.
Yes?
I saw a thread of fresh footprints on Mrs. Wagner's doorsteps.
Yes?
Heel prints were very clear. They were made by rubber heels that are sold only in the United States.
I see. You want to go back and search the house?
No, I looked around in back of the house after I left. And I saw the pet shop truck in the garage.
What?
Yes, they're probably moving Harrison somewhere right now.
Oh, what do you want to do, Jim?
I want you to go down to the El Aguila with me, and we'll have to hurry.
I hope we're in time.
So do I, for Harrison's sake.
I don't understand about that forsaken Dado. I'm sure.
Wartime, Carlos. I found you can't be sure of anyone.
No, I suppose you're right. That is El Aguila down there.
Oh, good. All right, Carlos. Let's stop about a half a block away.
Good.
Now, let's get out of the car and sneak down there, just so we'll be close enough in case we have to go into action.
All right. Is that the truck coming down here?
Yes, that looks like it. Come on, I'll stuck in here. That's it, Carlos. Truck is stopping in front of the boat.
Yes, I see.
See that woman getting out, you see?
Yes.
That's Mrs. Wagner. Who is that man with her? You know him?
I can't tell from here. They're going around to the back of the truck.
Yes, I see.
Someone else is coming out of the back of the truck.
I recognize that build. Carlos, it's Harrison.
Let's get him.
Let's go.
Stop in the name of the law. Run, both of you.
You got him, Carlos. Well, good evening, Mrs. Wagner. Do you mind if I remove the gag from Mr. Harrison's mouth?
That man you shot, he forced me to help him.
You'll know all about that in a minute. As soon as I untie the knot. There.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Taylor. You got here just in time.
Mr. Harrison, tell these men that I was forced into this. You heard that man threaten me.
I heard you threaten him, Mrs. Wagner.
What?
Yes, I heard you say that unless you got your money tonight, you were going to make trouble. You said that you had delivered me, and that was your part of the bargain.
So that's why you came down to the boat, Mrs. Wagner, to get paid. I wondered about that.
Mr. Harrison, perhaps you can tell me something.
What is it?
You heard them speak of a Jose Condado?
I heard Alex, the man here you just shot, say that Condado was forced to work with him because the Germans kidnapped his mother and were holding her as a threat.
Uh-huh.
Well, Mrs. Wagner?
I won't say another word. I want to get a lawyer.
That's fair enough. And I've got a tip for you.
You have?
Yes. With Harrison here alive to tell his story, you'd better get a good lawyer. A very good one.
Nora Wagner was found to be a German national, was tried and convicted of felonious assault, and was sentenced to be deported to Germany at the end of the war. That sentence has been carried out. And so another wartime file was closed by your FBI. Closed successfully because of the alert work of a special agent and the fine cooperation of the local police in South America. Also closed was the file on who wrote the original letter from the United States, the letter that was intercepted. That person's home was raided, one of the 25,881 raids made by your FBI during the war. Because of those raids, and because of the cooperation it received from local police all over the Americas, your FBI was proud to report at the end of the war that there had not been one single successful attempt at sabotage. That is a record of which your FBI is very proud.
In just a moment, we will tell you about next week's exciting case from the files of your FBI. When the breadwinner of a family dies, what are the critical years for his wife and children?
The critical years are the years before the youngest child finishes high school, years in which the home must be kept together.
To help you estimate just what income your family would need during those critical years, the Equitable Life Assurance Society has prepared a special fact-facing chart for fathers. Your Equitable Society representative will be glad to bring you a copy of this fact-facing chart. Phone him tomorrow or send a postcard care of this station to the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States.
Next week, we will bring you another colorful story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Rendezvous in the Everglades.
The incidents used in tonight's Equitable Life Assurance Society broadcast are adapted from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Tonight's broadcast was directed by William M. Sweets. The music was composed and conducted by Frederick Steiner. The author was Jerry D. Lewis, and your narrator was Dean Carlton. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. This is Milton Cross speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community, inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time when the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States will bring you another thrilling story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. rendezvous in the Everglades on This Is Your FBI.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society presents This Is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, the official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community. Are you one of the 47 million Americans who benefit from group insurance? Listen carefully to this special message from Mr. Gwillem A. Price, president of the Westinghouse Electric Corporation. Mr. Price says, and I quote, "We are glad to make group surgical benefits available to 40,000 of our employees and hospital expense insurance available to them as well as to their wives and children. Last year, 1/10 or 4,000 of the employees insured and 6,600 of their dependents were hospitalized. Of the employees insured, 3,000 underwent surgical operations. The value of their group insurance protection, provided at such low cost, is proved by the fact that the Equitable Society paid more than $700,000 in total benefits to these families in a single year. Yes, group insurance is something worth owning." In a few minutes, the Equitable Life Assurance Society will give further important information about group insurance, which will interest both employers and employees. Tonight's FBI file, Danger in the Jury Box.
Noah Webster, in his dictionary, defines the word criminal as one who has committed a crime. He further defines the word crime as an act or omission forbidden by law and punishable upon conviction. But those definitions, we feel, do not go far enough. Whether he is one of the war criminals who recently died at Nuremberg, or a petty thief who was convicted in your hometown for snatching a lady's handbag, the criminal all over the world has one common characteristic. He cannot be happy unless he's running something. He must be Mr. Big, even if he's stealing pennies. That is the criminal. He is the cancer in the body of the American nation today. Tonight's file opens in the comfortable dining room of a suburban home occupied by Tom Harris and his daughter Joyce. They're finishing dinner when Joyce breaks the silence.
How'd you like dinner, Pop?
Oh, fine, fine.
You said this morning you didn't know what you wanted, so I took a chance on lamb chops.
Well, they were very good. Oh, and, Joyce.
Yes, Pop?
You're going to get yourself married soon, so let me give you some advice.
What's that?
When a man finishes breakfast, he doesn't know what he wants to eat for dinner that night.
Okay, I'll remember. Have some more coffee?
All right, just a swallow. Oh, that's enough.
All right, Pop.
Oh, thanks, dear. I'm kind of tired tonight.
You look tired. Very busy at the office today?
Yes, I cleaned up my desk so I wouldn't have anything to worry about while I'm serving on the jury.
When does the trial start?
Well, I reported for jury duty this afternoon, and right off the bat, they picked me to serve in a case tomorrow.
I guess it's going to be tough staying away from the office, isn't it?
Yes, but after all, I'm a citizen and I want good government. Serving on juries is part of my duty.
You know, you're a very wonderful Pop to have.
Thanks. Well, I think I'll run down to the corner for a paper. See what's going on in the world.
Okay. I'll clean up while you're gone.
Good. See you later.
Hey, you. Hey, you, come here.
Me?
Yeah, you. Is your name Thomas J. Harris?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, you're the guy. Get in here next to me.
But I'm going down the corner.
Now, look, mister, let's don't fight. See this thing?
Why, it's a gun.
That's right. Now do what I say. Come on, get in the car.
In the center of that same city, even as Mr. Harris is being carried off, Special Agent Jim Taylor is reporting to the FBI field office. As he enters...
Well, hello, Jim. Oh, Mark. What are you doing out here?
I came out to testify in that Paul Scott case.
The Paul Scott case?
That's right. Scott goes on trial here tomorrow for stealing automobiles and carrying them across the state line from here to Illinois.
You here as a witness?
Mm-hmm. Prosecuting attorney thought he might need me. I made the arrest about 3 months ago.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't know about the case.
Well, that's right. You were in the Salt Lake City office then, weren't you?
That's right. Who is this Paul Scott?
He was the brains behind the operation. They stole cars in about 10 states.
Yeah? How'd you make the collar?
Well, I got a tip that he was eating at a place over on Market Street. I went over. There he was, and I brought him in.
Well, that easy, huh?
Easy as that. They set the bail at $100,000, and he couldn't raise it.
Oh, I remember the case. Now that you mention that $100,000, sure. Say, what was the nickname the papers pinned on Scott?
The Blade.
Oh, yeah.
There was a knife on him with a 6-inch blade when I arrested him.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice chum to go on a cruise with.
Well, I don't think Mr. Scott will be taking many cruises when this trial is over.
Good.
Oh, you go ahead, Mark. Finish that report you're working on. I've got some people to see downtown.
Can you tell me why I'm blindfolded?
So you can't see where you're going?
But what is this all about?
Look, mister, I can't talk to you about it.
Are we going to meet somebody?
Yeah.
When?
Real soon.
Well, can you tell me...
I can't tell you nothing. Now, shut up. Okay, mister. We're going to pick up the boss.
When?
Right now. Hello, boss.
Hello, Joe. This the right guy?
Yeah, this is Mr. Thomas J. Harris, ain't you?
That's right. Now, can you tell me what this is all about?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
That's fine.
You're on the jury in the Paul Scott case, Mr. Harris.
I am.
I'm a friend of Paul Scott, and I want to make a deal with him.
Deal?
Yeah. If you see to it that Scott beats this rap, there's 5 G's in it for your end.
You mean you...
I mean, I want you to see to it that Scott is found not guilty by that jury.
But I'm only one man.
Yeah, but you can swing some other votes once you get into that jury room. And there's 5,000 in it for you.
But I can't.
Look, Mr. Harris, I know this is kind of sudden. Don't give me an answer now.
When do you have to know?
Joe will call you up later on tonight at your house. And remember one thing.
What's that?
It ain't going to be a healthy world for you if you don't go along with us. Think that over, Mr. Harris. Think it over.
Now, don't get too excited, Joyce. It's nothing.
Nothing. You get picked up and your eyes are taped and it's nothing? I'm going to call the police.
Well, sit down, dear. I don't want you to call anyone.
But, Pop, you can't go through with it.
Well, don't think I want to.
Are they going to come here later?
No. One of them is going to call on the telephone.
All right. When the phone rings, we'll just let it ring. Promise me you won't answer it.
But, Joyce, I'm afraid to think what they'll do. They're dangerous men.
Then you've got to call the police.
If I called the police, I couldn't tell them who to arrest.
Why not?
Well, I saw the one who picked me up outside, but I never saw the other one, the boss.
Oh.
And even so, even if they arrested both of them, the gang is bigger than that. Somebody would, well, somebody might try to kill me.
But you could get police protection.
For the rest of my life, I wouldn't want that.
Let it ring, Pop. Let it ring.
Come in. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Mark.
Thought I wasn't going to see you till tomorrow night. Can't you stand being away from the office?
I came back here to go to work.
Work? You want to start at this hour? On what?
Mark, when I left here, I went down to police headquarters. I picked up a very interesting rumor.
About the Scott case?
That's right. There may be some tampering going on with the jury that was picked for that case this afternoon.
Oh. How do they figure?
Well, it seems that Scott has been bragging to some of the others around the jail that everything is in the bag for him to get an acquittal.
And one of them talked?
That's it. One of Scott's cellmates told a trustee, and he told the warden.
And the warden called police headquarters?
Right.
Well, what do we do now?
Well, the first thing to do is get a list of the jurors who were chosen this afternoon.
Okay.
When we get that list, we'll take the matter up with the prosecuting attorney and the judge.
And I guess they'll want us to go down and have a talk with them one by one.
That'd be my guess. Come on, let's get moving.
How long has it been now, Pop?
Since the phone rang?
Uh-huh.
About an hour. Why?
Well, maybe it worked. Maybe they think you're not at home.
Yeah, maybe.
Why don't you go up and go to bed, Pop?
I think I will. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep, but...
What do you think?
Yes, it's probably them.
Don't answer the door.
Joyce, if they've come this far, they're not going away that easy. I'll get it.
Hello, Mr. Harris. Why didn't you answer the phone, Mr. Harris?
Well, I thought maybe
He
you'd...
didn't answer the phone because he's not going to take your bride.
Where did you come from? Out of the woodwork?
That's my daughter, Joyce.
Tell her to mind her own business.
What my father does is my business.
Look, Mr. Harris, I came over here to talk to you. Do we need this broad?
Joyce, please go back into the kitchen.
No, Pop. I'm going to stay here.
Well, if you stay here, shut up. Now, mister, I ain't got time to be spending all night here. What's the word?
I don't see how I can do what you ask.
You mean you ain't gonna play ball with us?
I don't...
Now, wait. Wait a minute. Before you make up your mind, I got something to tell you.
What is it?
The boss said to tell you if you said no, that he'd raise the ante to $10,000.
$10,000?
That's right. Now, that's a lot of cabbage, mister, just for a couple of days' work.
You can go back and tell the boss that I'm not for sale.
What?
You heard him. He's not for sale. Now get out before I call the police.
Before you what?
Before I call the police.
Lady, stay away from that phone. I said drop that phone, and I meant it.
Say, that's my daughter.
I know it's your daughter, mister, but she was going to call the cops. Now, look, we're going to let you loose, but don't try anything.
Joyce. Joyce, dear.
She'll be all right. She was only knocked out for a little while.
Get out of here.
You mean your answer is still no?
That's right.
Okay. I got some news for you. I'm taking your daughter with me and keeping her until you decide to vote the right way.
Oh, no, you're not.
No?
We will return in just a moment to tonight's file, which shows how your FBI promotes national security. Now let's hear from a typical American worker who has attained greater personal security thanks to his employer's cooperation and the Equitable Society.
Well, I want to tell you, it sure saved me a lot of headaches when my company signed up for complete group insurance.
Yes, it surely does add up to a lot. Your plan gives you life insurance, accident and sickness insurance, and a retirement income, plus hospital, medical, and surgical benefits for yourself, your wife, and family, all in one package from the Equitable Life Assurance Society, and no medical examination.
And my payroll deduction for group insurance is so small, I hardly notice it. Now, how do they do it anyway?
Simply because your employer bears part of the cost. And also, there are enough of you so that the Equitable Society is able to sell it at what amounts to a wholesale price. That's why group insurance is such a great buy.
That's right, Mr. Cross. Now, listen to this. When I got hurt in the plant and was laid up over a month, the Equitable Society sent me a check that covered nearly all my earnings for the time I was out.
Group insurance was originated by the Equitable Society in 1911. Thomas I. Parkinson, president of the Equitable Society, says group insurance is the most inspiring life insurance development of our time. If your company does not have group insurance, or if your company's group program is incomplete, your management can get in touch with the nearest office of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. now back to the FBI file, Danger in the Jury Box.
Many of you who listen to these programs, taken from the files of your FBI, regard the crime wave as something that is foreign to your particular person, as something that is happening to someone else. Pick up your local newspaper tonight, though, and look at the headlines. 3 bandits escape after gem robbery. Grand jury probes election murder. 2 rob liquor store. Police hunt missing co-ed. Gunmen kill hold-up victim in fight. Those are ordinary headlines in every day's papers. Those crimes may be happening to strangers, but they are not happening to strange people. They're happening to people every day, to people like you. Tonight's file continues in the living room of the Harris home. Special Agents Jim Taylor and Mark Jackson are questioning Mr. Harris about the events of an hour earlier.
And you say the man who abducted your daughter is the same man who...
Yes. It was the same man who drove me away after dinner.
I see. You don't know his name, of course.
Well, boss called him Joe one time.
Oh? That might have been just to throw you off.
Maybe.
You don't by any chance remember hearing any peculiar sounds while you were on the ride with Joe, do you, Mr. Harris?
No, I don't. I was so puzzled about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And afraid that I wasn't particularly listening for anything.
Well, I can understand that. You don't have to be ashamed of being afraid, Mr. Harris.
No. I don't know anyone who likes having a gun stuck against his ribs.
Now, let's get this straight, sir. You say Joe was about 5 feet 10 inches tall.
That's right.
With light complexion and blonde hair.
Correct.
And he had a scar on his right cheek that slanted toward his ear.
Yes.
Well, that might be enough identification for us.
Mr. Taylor, all I want is my daughter. I don't care about catching those gangsters.
We'll do our very best to find both of them, Mr. Harris. You can depend on that.
What shall I do tomorrow? Do you want me to go to court?
Yes. You go to court just as if nothing had happened. We'll get word to the judge, and if he agrees, we'll get an adjournment of a few days.
What good will that do?
It'll give them a chance to get in touch with you again.
And if they do?
If they do, you tell them that you'll play ball with them.
But
That's just so that you can get your daughter back. Then we'll try to catch them when you've got nothing at stake.
I see.
In all kidnapping cases, Mr. Harris, the object of the FBI is to first ensure the safety of the victim, then catch the kidnappers.
I didn't know that.
Now, we're going down to police headquarters and see if we can find a picture of the man you described for us as Joe. If we do, we'll be back here to see you.
Who's there?
It's me, Joe.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, come on in.
Yep.
What'd he say, Joe?
He said no, but I got everything fixed up.
He went for the 10,000.
No, but I snatched his daughter.
You what?
I snatched his daughter, and I told him we wouldn't bring her back until after he said okay.
Holy shit! How stupid can you get?
What do you mean? I thought that was real smart. You see, now he's got to help Paul beat the rap.
Don't you ever read the papers, you ape?
Get mad, boy. Sure, I read the paper.
Did you see where 3 guys went to the chair last week back east out of snatch?
Yeah, but this guy can't squawk, boss.
Where is she, the girl?
Over in my apartment.
Where's that?
51 State Street.
What for, Jan?
The apartment?
Yes.
Well, it's in the cellar, and I got her gagged.
Is she blindfolded, too?
Sure, boss. You don't think I'm that dumb.
I won't answer that. Now, listen, and hear me good.
I hear you good.
I want you to go back to that apartment, pick up that girl, and take her back home.
What?
I got enough trouble trying to get the blade out of the jam he's in without getting into a jackpot myself. Now, go ahead and let her loose.
Okay, boss. Whatever you say.
Pick me up tomorrow morning. Now, we got to get out of town for a while.
Oh, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Jackson, do you have any word about my daughter?
No, not yet. But, of course, we sent out the alarm only about an hour ago.
Oh, I've never spent an hour like this last one.
I'm sure you haven't, Mr. Harris. Yes, sir. Will you take a look at these 3 pictures and see if any one of them is Joe?
No, Not this one. Mm-hmm. Yes, this last one. This is Joe.
That's fine.
Oh, I don't think I can stand much more if
Mr.
I...
Harris, we'd like...
Joyce. Oh, thank God you're home. Are you all right?
Yes.
But how did you get here?
That man brought me back, dropped me on the corner.
Oh, it's so good to have you home.
Pop, who are these men?
Oh, this is Mr. Taylor, Joyce, and Mr. Jackson. They're from the FBI.
Oh, the FBI, that's wonderful.
Hey, maybe you'd better sit down, Miss Harris.
All right. Thank you. I'm a little weak in the knees.
Oh, my poor baby. Tell me, did they hurt you?
No, except when that Joe knocked me out while I was telephoning.
Where did he take you, Miss Harris?
I don't know, Mr. Taylor. I was blindfolded after we got into the car.
You were conscious then?
Yes. I guess the fresh air revived me.
I see.
Did you get to talk to the boss, too, Miss Harris?
No, I didn't. Joe took me to a place and then left. In a little while, he came back and drove me home. He seemed very mad.
Oh? Sounds like maybe the kidnapping was his own idea and the boss didn't like it.
Yeah, it does. Jury tampering's one thing, kidnapping's another.
Can you tell us anything about the place he took you to?
Well, we rode for, I should say, 20 minutes.
Well, that means you stayed within the city limits.
Do you have any idea where you were when you got out?
We went down a flight of steps off the street.
I see. Into a cellar?
Yes. While I was down there, I could hear people talking when they walked over the grating in front.
Could you hear what they were saying?
Yes, there must have been a movie right near there. They were talking about the picture, the killers.
Killers? That's a good picture. I saw it. Tell me, what time was this?
I guess about 1 o'clock.
Did you hear anything else?
Yes. There was an automobile smash-up almost in front of the building while I was there. I heard the crash, and in a little while I heard an ambulance arrive.
Well, thank you, Miss Harris. That ought to be enough for us. Come on, Mark. We've got work to do.
Here's that map you asked for, Jim.
Oh,
It's got
swell.
the whole city laid out, block by block.
Okay, let's get some pins.
I got you.
There's pins with different colored heads. Then we'll get police reports on all accidents between 1 and 2 this morning.
Right. I'll check on all the movie houses that are playing the killers.
Then we'll want the hospital records and ambulance calls between 1 and 2 from every hospital.
Check. I'll arrange for that.
We'll put a red pin in the map every place we find a movie house with the killers. A white pin where we find an auto crash, and a blue pin where we find an ambulance pickup.
I'll make all the phone calls now.
You get the hospital and police records. I'll find out about the movie houses. 7th and Main. Here it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the last of the movie houses pinned down.
All right, here are the records from police headquarters, Jim.
Right. Let's start on that. By the time we're through, maybe the hospital records will be here.
Okay, you want to take this first sheet and I'll work on the second?
Let's keep going. We've got no time to spare. Is that the last pin on the hospital pickups?
That's right, Jim. That's all.
Good. Now let's check this map.
Okay. There's the place with all 3 pins together.
Yes. 5th and State Street. Okay, now let's find Joe.
Who's there?
Me, Joe.
Oh. Okay, come on in.
Hey, boss, how come the door ain't locked?
Kid's coming up from the drugstore with my breakfast.
Oh.
I'll be finished packing here in a minute.
Hey, look, boss, when are we going to get out of here?
As soon as I eat breakfast.
That quick, huh?
Sure. We got to get out of town. This heat gets off us. And, speaking of heat, did you get rid of the girl?
Yeah, I dropped her off near where she lives.
Anybody see you?
Nope, street was empty.
Good.
Hey, boss, are we going to stay away a long time?
No, just until we find out whether that guy Harris called the cops about his daughter. We got no kidnapping rap against us. We can back.
Oh, good. You see, I want to tell my girl.
You tell your girl nothing. Don't tell anybody where we're going or why. You tell her when we come back.
Okay.
Where is that kid with my breakfast? Now, listen. We finished packing. Let's get out of here. We can get some coffee on the road.
All right.
Don't move, either of you.
Who are you? Who are these other people?
If you insist on formal introductions, this is Mr. Harris. Maybe you didn't recognize him without any tape over his eyes. This is his daughter, Joyce. And this is Mark Jackson. We're both special agents of the FBI.
Mr. Whiskers?
That's us, Joe.
Well, what brought you here?
We pieced together Miss Harris's story. Found out where Joe had taken her last night. Then we waited outside Joe's place all night with Mr. Harris and his daughter.
And when Joe came out this morning, we just followed him here.
Why, you
Stay where you are,
sir.
Mr. Martin. Mr. Harris, close your eyes for a moment. All right, Mr. Martin. Ask Mr. Harris a question. Any question.
I have nothing to say to Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris, is that the voice?
Yes. That's the voice I heard when Joe brought me to talk to somebody. I'd know it anywhere.
All right, Mr. Martin. You too, Joe. You were so interested in juries, we're going to give you a chance to face one.
Herbert Martin and his hired thug, Joseph Wentworth, were tried separately and were both convicted. Wentworth was convicted of kidnapping and received a 20-year sentence. Herbert Martin was convicted of conspiring to bribe a federal juror and is now serving a long sentence in the penitentiary. This case was brought to you tonight from the files of your FBI to show with what thoroughness your FBI works on every case that falls within its jurisdiction. Not every case is solved easily. Not every case is solved quickly. But the record of your FBI proves that the most difficult cases are broken open because no clue is too small, no lead too improbable for the FBI to follow up. It is that painstaking care with the most minute detail that has brought your FBI the worldwide reputation it has. A reputation as invincible protectors of you, the American people.
In just a moment, we'll tell you about next week's exciting case from the official files of your FBI. Now, one last word to business executives. Since group insurance was originated by the Equitable Life Assurance Society 35 years ago, thousands of employers have learned that group insurance means satisfied workers, builds loyalty and morale, decreases labor turnover, improves quality and quantity of production. Get all the facts and figures from an Equitable Society group insurance expert. Whether your employees are entirely uninsured or have only partial protection, get in touch with the nearest office or write direct to the New York home office of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States.
Next week, we will bring you another colorful story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Operation Rhumba.
The incidents used in tonight's Equitable Life Assurance Society's broadcast are adapted from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Tonight's broadcast was directed by William M. Sweets. The music was composed and conducted by Frederick Steiner. The author was Jerry D. Lewis, and your narrator was Dean Carlton. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. This is Milton Cross speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community, and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time when the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States will bring you another thrilling story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Operation Rhumba, on This is Your FBI.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society presents This is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, the official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, presented as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community. Are you one of the 47 million Americans who benefit from group insurance? Listen carefully to this special message from Mr. Eugene Holman, President of the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey. Mr. Holman says, and I quote, "We believe in maintaining contributory benefit programs in cooperation with our employees. These programs enable them to achieve economic security over and above what they obtain from their pay envelopes. In carrying out these programs, we have found group life insurance and group annuities very helpful. Yes, group insurance is something worth owning. In 14 minutes, the Equitable Life Assurance Society will give further important information about group insurance, which will interest both employers and employees." Tonight's FBI file, The Return of the Killer.
Many of the axioms we learned as children have the deep wisdom of eternal truth. Mottos like "a stitch in time saves 9" or "a word to the wise is sufficient." But there are some catchphrases that we still repeat that bear not one whit of proof. A catchphrase like the one which goes, "There is honor among thieves." There is no honor, no loyalty among criminals. For honor and loyalty are qualities which the criminal mind does not quite grasp. Honor and loyalty, you understand, do not show any immediate profit, and the criminal, greedy and hate-filled, regards his fellow men in one of two ways. To the criminal, you, the stranger, are either a potential partner in crime, or you are a potential victim. Tonight's file opens in the dreary prison cell occupied by Chicago Thompson and Frank Patterson. It is late evening, and the lights have just been turned out. In the dismal semi-darkness, Frank breaks the silence.
Well, I think I'll go to sleep, Chicago.
Not so quick.
Huh?
It's 3 to go, ain't it?
Less than that.
How do you figure?
Oh, this is Friday night. I get out Monday morning. That's 2 days, ain't it?
Why don't you learn how to count?
What do you mean? Today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, the next day's Sunday. I got 2 more days to go.
Look, after you've been in stir as many times as I have, you'll learn how to count time.
How do you do it?
The way I figure, you got 3 nights. Tonight, Saturday night, Sunday night.
That's right, but it's only 2 days.
Who cares about the days? They don't make stir tough. It's the nights.
Yeah, you sure got that right.
I never missed the big town during the day.
Why should you? You was probably sleeping all day.
Yeah, I was. But at night, I was the head man at night. I used to go to a joint called the Moonbeam Club every night. With my girl.
What's her name again?
Martha Bentley. And you remember where she lives, don't you?
Yeah, sure. She lives at the Hotel Barton.
That's right. Apartment 415.
I can remember that.
You better be able to.
I will. Now let's get some sleep.
Why? You got a big day tomorrow?
No, but I'm tired. I've been in that bakery since 7 o'clock this morning.
You've been in the bakery ever since you got in this jug?
Yeah. It's like the Army.
What do you mean, like the Army?
You know that paper they ask you to fill out when you come in?
Sure, I know.
Well, one of them questions was name your favorite hobby.
I remember.
So I thought I'd be a wise guy, and I answered counting dough, so they stuck me in a bakery.
That's a good one.
Yeah, big joke.
Well, starting Monday, you don't have to make bread anymore. In fact, starting Monday, you don't even have to eat it.
It's all right with me if I don't even have to see it. Now, is it all right if I go to sleep?
Okay. Hey, Frank.
What do you want now?
You remember what you got to tell Miss Bentley?
Yeah. I tell her that Monday night she should open a safe deposit box.
That's right. You remember the rest of it?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be there.
Okay. Now you can go to sleep.
Thanks.
Hello, Martha. Well, where have you been, buddy?
Take it easy, kid. You don't have to yell. I'm right here.
Well, where have you been all day?
Been out collecting some money for us. That all right?
Listen, a guy named Frank Patterson came to see me this morning.
Who's Frank Patterson?
He was in the can with Chicago, in the same cell.
Oh, yeah?
He picked up 2 of Chicago's guns, and he brought me a message. Chicago said for me to open the safe deposit box Monday night.
What safe deposit box?
That was a code Chicago and I had. It means that he's breaking out of that joint tonight.
What?
That's right, he's being sprung tonight.
What time?
Patterson was supposed to meet him at Maywood Junction at 10 o'clock, inside the main entrance to the cemetery.
10 o'clock. It's 5 minutes to 10 now.
Well, I've been trying to get you all day.
Well, it's too late to call a warden.
What'd you say?
I said it's too late to call a warden. Trying to figure some way to stop Chicago. If he comes back here and finds out you're not his girl anymore, he's liable to use one of those guns.
Yeah. When he finds out that I'm your girl, he'll make it a double header.
You say Patterson was going to pick him up at 10 o'clock inside the cemetery entrance at Maywood Junction?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. We might be able to catch them yet. Hello, operator. I want Maywood Junction, the police station.
Is that you, Chicago?
Yeah. Where's the car?
Follow me. Okay, Chicago, here we are. I'll get in first.
Did you bring the guns?
Yeah, here's your 45. Machine guns on the back seat.
Okay, let's get rolling.
Before we start, where we going?
Let's get to a telephone. I want to call Martha.
Ain't that a little dangerous?
Martha knows the coppers might be tapping the phone. She won't call me by my right name.
Oh. Where do we go after the phone call?
That depends on what she says.
Okay.
Thanks for planting that suit of clothes for me, Frank.
Oh, that's okay.
Hope I can return the favor someday.
Hey, what the...
Faster, Frank. Steady now. I'm going to try to stop him. Well, I got the cop that was driving.
What happened to them? Sounded like they hit something.
They did. They hit another car, the one that passed us, going the other way. Both of them turned over.
I'd just as soon not come that close again.
Don't worry about a thing, Frank. Not while I got little Betsy here and some bullets. I love to kill cops.
Hey, Chicago.
Come on.
Them cops didn't ask no questions. They just started shooting. You suppose they knew it was us coming out of the cemetery?
I don't know, but I'd sure love to find out.
In a nearby city, Special Agent Jim Taylor is seated at his desk in the field office of your FBI. Special Agent Dave Johnson, who has just been assigned to work with Taylor, is entering Jim's office.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Hi, Jim.
Boss just called and told me we were working together.
Yes. Do you have any dope on the case?
Yes, it's right here. Chicago Thompson escaped from the state penitentiary an hour ago.
Oh?
We've had a detainer against him for years.
How'd he get out? Any dope on that?
We're not sure. But the only vehicle that went out of the prison last night between 8 o'clock, when Thompson was last seen in his cell, and 10 o'clock, when the police got a tip that he'd escaped, was a garbage truck.
He got out in that, huh?
Looks like it. Either in a barrel or hanging on the bottom of the truck.
You say a tip came in that he escaped?
That's right. About 9:55, the Maywood Junction police got a call telling them that Thompson had escaped and that he was going to meet a man named Frank Patterson at the Maywood Cemetery gate at 10.
Well, that didn't give him much time to work.
No, it didn't. They sent the only 2 men who were on duty out in a squad car.
They missed him, huh?
No. Thompson had a submachine gun. He shot the officer who was driving the squad car, and the car crashed. Thompson got away.
What happened to the other officer?
I was over at the hospital to see him.
Get anything?
Yes. Patterson was driving a black Buick convertible, license plates 9J5347.
Who are those plates assigned to?
I don't know yet. I've got an alarm out on the car, and I've got the license bureau checking the plates. We should be hearing from them any minute.
Well, baby, it's 10 after 11. Feel better now than you did an hour ago?
You bet, sugar. Then I always feel good with you.
Me too, honey.
Chicago ought to be getting back into his cell just about now.
Yeah, I guess just about now.
Probably wondering how the cops knew about the cemetery.
Well, he'll never suspect it was his trusted lieutenant.
And his ex-girl. You can cut yourself in for half of this. Martha, I was just thinking.
We get into trouble every time you do that.
No, honey, I'm serious.
What's on your mind?
Why don't we go out, pick up a couple of bottles of champagne, then come back here and celebrate?
Okay. I'll tell you what. Hello?
Hello, Martha.
Chicago. Hello, Morton.
Gee, baby, I've missed you.
Oh, I've missed you too, Morton.
It's always half-past lonesome without you.
Where are you?
I'm out on Route 30, about 15 miles from town. I'm in a restaurant with Frank.
You want me to come out there?
No, I don't want to stay here too long.
Where can I meet you?
At the cabin near Oak Park. I'll be there in about 2 hours.
Okay, honey, I'll be there. That was Chicago.
I know. What'd he say?
Wants to meet me.
Where?
The cabin near Oak Park.
The address there's 97 Oak Park Lane, isn't it?
Yeah?
Cheer up, honey.
Buddy, he'll murder both of us.
He ain't gonna murder nobody. I'm gonna make another phone call, and don't worry, those coppers ain't gonna miss this time.
Yes, I see. Well, thanks for your help. Goodbye. Well, Dave, that takes care of the license plates.
What was that?
That was the license bureau. The plates were issued to a man named Ralph Jenkins, legitimate citizen. He's a grocer, and he owns a Pontiac.
But the getaway car was a Buick.
That's right. They must have been using doctored license plates. Not too tough to change some of those numbers.
No, it's not.
Dave, let's get a list of Thompson's old mob and just start checking it off from the top on down.
You think you'd head for one of them for cover, huh?
Well, wouldn't that be your guess?
It's as logical as any. I'll tell you what, Jim. Suppose I go to work on the files right now and get up that list of Thompson's mob.
That's a good idea. And we'll split them up, each take half. And... Special Agent Taylor. Oh, hello, Chief. What's up? You did? Will you give me that address again, please? 97 Oak Park Lane. Right? Okay, Chief, we'll meet you there. We're on our way now.
Sit down for a couple of minutes, honey, while I get some glasses. Then we can start some serious drinking.
Okay, I guess they must have picked up Chicago by now.
Oh, sure. Like I said, the cops ain't gonna miss 2 shots at him.
Hey, when we finish these 2 bottles, let's go out somewhere, huh?
Why not? It's a special occasion. What about the Moonbeam Club?
Yeah, let's go there. It'll kind of make the whole thing seem real.
What do you mean?
The last time I was at the Moonbeam was with Chicago.
Oh?
It's my birthday. We really got mauled. Now I'm going there with you.
Ain't it too bad you ain't gonna have any more birthdays?
Chicago, where have you been?
I've been in the bedroom listening. Oh, what a nice pair of double crosses you two are.
Chicago, you got me all wrong.
You move in on my rackets, you move in on my apartment, you move in on my girl.
Chicago,
Shut
I was...
up.
Chicago, what about the cabin? I was just...
I sent Patterson to the cabin. I came in here to pick up the keys to my safe deposit boxes. I noticed a lot of buddies closed. I decided to wait till you come in.
Look, Chicago, I
told
was...
you to shut up. I called Patterson at the cabin. The cops were closing in on him out there. Too bad about you, too. Now you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Chicago, put away that gun.
Why?
Because you forget that all those safe deposit boxes, the one in Cleveland and in Buffalo and the one in Detroit, they're all in my name.
So what?
So unless I sign my signature, you can throw those keys away. And I can't write my name if I'm dead. You don't want to throw all that money away, do you, Chicago?
Okay, you can stay alive until I get the money.
Look, Chicago, I never...
Shut up. I told you to shut up twice and you didn't listen. Maybe this will shut you up. Well, there goes your boyfriend. Now, come on, let's get my money.
We will return in just a moment to tonight's file, which shows how your FBI promotes national security. Now let's hear from a typical American worker who has attained greater personal security thanks to his employer's cooperation and the Equitable Society.
Believe me, Mr. Cross, I'm one guy who's mighty glad to work for a company where he gets complete group insurance protection.
I'll bet you are. Nothing like getting life insurance, accident and sickness insurance, and a retirement income, plus hospital, medical, and surgical benefits for yourself and your wife and children, all in one package from the Equitable Life Assurance Society, and no medical examination either.
Well, the thing that beats me is it all costs so little. How come?
That's something that amazes everybody about group insurance. You see, when a group of employees buys insurance through their employer, they can get that insurance from the Equitable Society at what you might call wholesale cost. Then, too, the employer himself pays a part of the cost.
You know, Mr. Cross, a fellow in my department, name of Jim Dolan, retired last year on his group annuity benefits plan. Every month, that old check comes in from the Equitable Society. Yes, sir, Jim and his family are set for life. And so will I be when I'm 65.
You know, group insurance was originated by the Equitable Life Assurance Society in 1911. Thomas I. Parkinson, president of the Equitable Society, says group insurance is the most inspiring life insurance development of our time. If your company does not have group insurance, or if your company's group program is incomplete, your management can get in touch with the nearest Equitable Life Assurance Society office.
That's EQUITABLE.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States. And now, back to the FBI file, The Return of the Killer.
The criminal, to repeat an observation made earlier in the program, has no sense of honor or loyalty. But there is one quality which every criminal does possess, a quality without which it would be impossible for him to be a true criminal. That inevitable characteristic of everyone who makes a career of living beyond the law is ego. Without his delusions of bravery, of self-importance, and of grandeur, the criminal would be a cringing mediocrity. But with those delusions, he fancies that he can stand alone against the world and keep fighting the world until the world quits. What the criminal never learns is that decency never surrenders. Tonight's file continues in the Midtown apartment of Chicago Thompson, the apartment taken over by Buddy White. Now, Special Agents Jim Taylor and Dave Johnson are finished examining Buddy White's body.
Well, I guess there isn't much else we can find out from the body.
No, not until the lab gives us a report on the bullets that killed him.
Yes, they might match some in the unidentified ammunition file.
The elevator man was pretty sure of his identification, huh?
Yes, especially when I showed him a picture of Chicago.
But why didn't the elevator man notify the police when Chicago came in?
Oh, he didn't know it was Chicago. He's only been working here a couple of months.
Huh. How did Chicago get in the apartment?
Well, they must have had a key. Remember, this was his apartment.
Oh, that's right, so it was.
Dave, what about the other man?
The doorman?
Mm-hmm. He didn't know a thing, huh?
No, he says he didn't see Chicago. He's been here long enough to know him. And he says he's positive that if Chicago was here, he came and went by the back entrance.
Well, could be.
Well, what do we do now, Jim?
Well, let's move on to the next name on the list. Maybe Chicago will be calling on some more of his old friends.
What time do you think we'll get to Cleveland?
Oh, we're a good 3 hours away.
That'll get us there about 4 in the morning.
Yeah, about then.
The banks don't open till 9.
I can wait. So can you. Just keep driving. Don't try anything funny.
What do you mean?
I mean like stalling if we pass a cop. I used the gun once tonight.
Don't worry. I'm not that silly.
It's hard to tell about you. You got pretty silly with that buddy.
You got sent away for 30 years. What did you want me to do?
I just wanted you to remember you were my girl.
But a girl's gotta live, Chicago. 30 years is a long time.
I told you I wasn't going to be gone no 30 years.
Oh, I know.
Forget it. It's over now.
Chicago, I'll make a deal with you.
No dice.
Don't you want to hear my deal?
No. You're not in any position to be making a deal. Just drive.
Okay, dear.
Cut it. Don't dare or honey me. You got a chance to live without that.
I have?
Yeah. After I get my dough out of that last box, I might let you go. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll let you go. Maybe I'll knock you off. We'll see.
Special Agent Taylor speaking.
Mr. Taylor, this is William Fremont.
Oh, yes, Mr. Fremont. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm the doorman at the Fayette Apartments.
Oh, yes. Place where Chicago Thompson lived. Well, go on, Mr. Fremont. What can I do for you?
Well, I told one of your agents that I didn't see Chicago Thompson tonight.
Yes, so I understand.
Well, I did.
You did? When?
He came out of the house about a half an hour before you arrived.
Was he alone?
No, sir. He was with his girl, Martha Bentley. They left in her car.
What made you lie to Mr. Johnson before?
Mr. Thompson gave me $50 as he was leaving, and he told me to say I didn't see him.
Did you hear him say anything to Miss Bentley by any chance?
No, sir. But he did ask me which was the best road to Cleveland.
Cleveland, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Fremont. I'll see you later. Dave Thompson's on his way to Cleveland. He's driving there with Martha Bentley in her car. They left about an hour and a half ago.
We can beat them there if we fly.
That's just what we're going to do. Look, I'm going in and see the boss. While I'm in there, find out from the License Bureau what kind of a car Martha Bentley owned, what her license plate number is.
Right. And then I'll put out an alarm on it.
Right, and have them put roadblocks on 3 roads leading into Cleveland.
Check.
Oh, and one other thing, Dave. Call the Cleveland office. Ask them to have some men ready to give us a hand. And by the time you're through with that, I'll be finished with the boss. Then we can fly out of here.
Sure got a lot of trees along this road, Chicago.
Yeah. Guy could hide out in these woods for a month if he had to.
You won't have to.
No.
Did you make up your mind yet about me?
About knocking you off?
Yeah.
Just about.
What'd you decide?
I'll let you know later.
When?
After I get my hands on my dough.
Hey, there's a cop in the road.
Keep driving, no matter what he tries to do.
Wait.
No buts, keep driving.
Never even noticed it.
Why should he? They're not looking for this car.
Lucky you gave the doorman that 50.
You can buy anybody with dough. You just got to know their price. Some guys cost more than others, that's all.
I'll say one thing for you.
What's that?
Being in the jug didn't change you a bit.
Why should it?
I don't know. Some guys change, though.
Only the phonies. They get weak. They get sorry for what they did.
Weren't you ever sorry for anybody in your life?
No. Only suckers get sorry for anybody. It only gets you into trouble.
I...
You got to be strong, sure of yourself. It's the only way to make good.
Yeah. Hey, what are all those lights?
Take it easy. They got the road blocked.
What'll I do?
Give it the gas. We drive right through. I got the machine gun ready. I got one, baby. Keep going.
Chicago, I'm hit in the shoulder.
Stop the car. Goodbye, baby. I'm headed for those trees. And just so you can't tell them which way I went...
Chicago, not me.
Better come out of there, Thompson. You have no chance of escaping. We have the woods completely surrounded. Now come out with your hands up.
Taylor to roadblock 3. Taylor to roadblock 3.
This is Richardson, Jim. Come in.
Richardson, any sign of Thompson on your side of the woods?
None at all.
Okay, I'll check with you later. Over.
I think I saw something moving there, Jim.
Where?
Right there.
Get down, Dave! Dave, you all right?
Yeah, just a little dirty.
All right, Thompson. You're just making it tougher for yourself to get out alive. Now come out with your hands up and nobody here will fire at you. You have no chance of escaping. The woods are completely surrounded. Come out with your hands
There he
up.
goes, Jim, across the road over there. You got him, Jim.
Yeah. I'm almost sorry.
What?
I'm almost sorry I killed him. That's one guy I wanted to see walk to the electric chair. I wanted to see how brave he was without that Tommy gun.
He'd be like all the rest.
I guess you're right. No gun, no guts.
His accomplices dead, Frank Patterson was tried and convicted of aiding a prisoner to escape and was sentenced to the penitentiary for a long term. Chicago Thompson had the mind of a criminal and the philosophy of a criminal. The philosophy that might makes right, and that only the very strong deserve to survive. Chicago Thompson died, but his philosophy did not die with him. It is alive today in the heart and mind of every criminal. Between these criminals and you, the American people, stands every law enforcement office in the nation. Your local police, your state police, and your FBI. They shall continue to see to it that might does not make right, but only that right makes might.
In just a moment, we'll tell you about next week's exciting case from the official files of your FBI. Now, one last word to business executives. Since group insurance was originated by the Equitable Life Assurance Society 35 years ago, thousands of employers have learned that group insurance means satisfied workers, builds loyalty and morale, decreases labor turnover, improves quality and quantity of production. Get all the facts and figures from an Equitable Society group insurance expert. Whether your employees are entirely uninsured or have only partial protection, get in touch with the nearest office or write direct to the New York Home Office of the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States.
Next week, we will bring you another colorful story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Danger in the Jury Box.
The incidents used in tonight's Equitable Life Assurance Society's broadcast are adapted from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of persons living or dead is accidental. Tonight's broadcast was directed by William M. Sweet. The music was composed and conducted by Frederick Steiner. The author was Jerry D. Lewis, and your narrator was Dean Carlton. This is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. This is Milton Cross speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community, and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time when the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States will bring you another thrilling story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Danger in the Jury Box, on This is Your FBI.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.